Jake Paul should be fighting a real fighter.
At some point, you have to fight a real boxer, Jake.
I'm not going to respect Jake Paul until he faces a professional fighter.
12 days, Jake. 12 days.
Yes, sir.
MVP presents Jake versus Joshua, Judgment Day.
I don't want to have to need boxing. I want to do it because I love boxing. You know, I don't want to do it for the fame, because I haven't paid any bills. I just want to do it because I enjoy it. I still want to compete at a high level, just for the love of it. My intentions have been pure. I want Joshua. He's been dodging me, ducking me, and I was like, whoa. So I called Eddie, has there been any conversation between you and the Wilder camp? No, we ain't heard a peep. I said, so why is he calling my name out saying I've been ducking and dodging it? I feel like we've been stuck in a big hurdle with this last WBC bout. I've shown my cards, so I've laid them all out on the table. So you've got a chance to beat me and have the keys to the city. You have a chance to earn your biggest prize money. You've got a chance to fight in front of the best and the biggest crowd that boxing has to offer at Wembley Stadium. That being said, I don't know how many more cards I have to lay on your table to entice you. I'm ready to give it all.
He's been pushing himself. He's asking me, what can I do more? How can I be better? How can I build my fitness more? And that's really a sign of a great individual and a great champion, someone who really wants to be better. And he's working, he's doing it in this 100-degree heat.
There is a saying, I would say, there's a saying that a happy fighter makes a dangerous fighter, in the sense that if you put them in the right environment and their brain is receptive of what they're being taught, they're going to be more in tune with what they're going through. So I'm actually like, give me more, give me more, give me more. Every time it gets tough, and when I feel like I don't want to do it, there is someone out there in this world, laying on a hospital bed, begging for a second chance at life. I'm sitting there healthy, with good friends, heating, light, running tap water. I don't think I have any excuse to not go hard or live life with a smile on my face.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little scared.
No matter where the we at in the world, we gonna push this motherfucker and we gonna get it done. Let's go. We are the best team in the world. That's right. You understand? We all come from different places, but we stick together, we a brotherhood, and we gonna make sure this motherfucker is victorious. Let's get it. You know what we gonna do. Anyone, anytime, any place. Who?
Anyone, anytime, any place.
When?
Anyone, anytime, any place.
Where?
Anyone, anytime, any place.
1, 2, 3.
When?
Let's go! Lift it up! Lift it up! Lift it up! Come on! Come on, man!
I wanted to feel what it was like to be Gervonta Davis. That's why I'm going to jail next week.
Jake Paul is already in a hard training camp before his fight with AJ. He came into camp with a mission to hone basics, build on strength and conditioning, and accustom himself to a full 8-round professional fight against a man who had beaten at the top of the heavyweight division several years.
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua because I beat him.
Jake Paul had leaned fully into the trash talk, using a mix of insults, bravado, and humor to stir excitement around the matchup. His tone had shown that he wanted to provoke AJ, unsettle him, and entertain fans at the same time.
You're gonna beat his ass.
I'm gonna fucking school his fucking slow, lanky, no rhythm ass, chitty chin ass, mother heavyweight ass, mother UK little little no teeth, Carl Tooth UK motherfuckers.
Damn.
I will say he has really nice teeth. That was more of a diss to the rest of the country.
The fight has taken a whirl on the internet and has shocked the viewers across the globe. Logan Paul was shocked yet concerned at the same time. A video that made its rounds through social media outlets shows Logan looking shocked and concerned about the well-being of his younger brother, a sentiment that was also echoed by family members who said the thought of Jake being given a ring by a two-time unified champion in heavyweight boxing was laden with danger.
Not just that, brother. He's perfect. I met him once. He was in my vlog.
I thought I was a big guy.
You're a machine! He's pretty much perfect.
What do you mean by that?
I find him incredibly good looking and tall and handsome.
Logan.
My man is real.
Someone said that if this actually happens, he's gonna have to have a wheelbarrow to carry his nuts to the ring.
Can I wheel it?
Yeah, bro.
Analysts framed Joshua taking the risk as a career move, and some said that AJ had nothing to gain and everything to lose in his career. Others interpreted the fight as a shortcut to fame and a substantial payoff for both men, a risky but still lucrative one. Barry McGuigan had responded to the suggestion of Jake Paul calling Anthony Joshua a stiff with no chin with pure disbelief. There was humor and frustration in his answer, the way a lifetime in the sport breeds such a reaction and knows what it means to face a heavyweight puncher. McGuigan had laughed at the statement, and behind his laugh was a warning.
Well, Jake's own words are that AJ's got no chin, he's stiff, and he's got no rhythm.
What a fool. What an absolute idiot. He's going to get absolutely annihilated. If this is real, he's going to get absolutely annihilated.
He clarified the fact that Jake Paul was getting into a kind of power and experience that he had never dealt with, and the manner in which he was talking about Joshua only demonstrated the extent of his lack of knowledge about the danger. To him, Jake was chewing himself into a fiasco, and what was said within the ring would cost him much more than what was said out of the ring.
And, you know, who can blame Joshua? Who could blame him? Offering him this guy for 40 or 35 million. It's unbelievable. Well, put it that way.
The match was critiqued swiftly and in a complex manner. In the middle lay the basic arithmetic. Anthony Joshua had been fighting regularly at around the mid-250s weight, and Jake Paul had been fighting at cruiserweight most of his pro career and only briefly tried to be heavyweight in the past. Observers cited a huge height and reach difference. Joshua about 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach versus the 6 feet 1 inch and a 76-inch reach of Paul. Devin had been keeping a close watch on the build-up, and he really did not think Jake would accept such a perilous matchup. His voice had revealed a combination of shock and worry, the sort of response you get when a fighter realizes the size, strength, and experience of a champion that Joshua possesses.
I was surprised that Jake took the fight rather than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is one of the best fighters in the world. He's a solidified champion, but I'm surprised that Jake took the fight and is fighting a guy that's so dangerous like Anthony Joshua. So I got to take my hat off to him.
Haney felt that the risk was way too high for the reward, and his shock was to show how strange it was that a celebrity turned boxer should be matched against a former unified heavyweight champion. His remarks had pointed out the actual threat of the spectacle.
Because we were saying that, he's fighting this person past their prime, this person's old and this and whatnot, and now he's fighting, AJ. So you got to take your hat off to Jake.
Joe Rogan spoke bluntly about Jake Paul's decision to face Anthony Joshua, making it clear he believed the matchup pushed well past the limits of a calculated risk. He stressed that sharing a ring with a heavyweight as destructive as Joshua carried real consequences, the kind that don't just show up on a scorecard but can reshape a fighter's entire trajectory.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
Yes.
I mean, he's a one-punch fucking night-night guy.
Yeah.
He's a great boxer, very skillful.
Yeah.
On styles and skills, the difference was clear and professional. Joshua entered the fight with textbook heavyweight tendencies, heavy hands, orthodox mechanics, measured jab to set up long, straight power punches, and experience in the world and against the world leaders of the heavyweight divisions. This was in response to the interview by Wade Plemons of the Wade Concept, who explained the attitude that Anthony Joshua ought to take into the Jake Paul fight. Wade had been elaborating that viewers are watching not only expertise, but danger, intensity, and the feeling that anything might occur. He emphasized that AJ had to take the matchup seriously as he wanted to seal the deal, as such a threat is what makes the spectacle interesting.
I'm about to break the internet over Jake Paul's face. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but it sounds demented, terrifying, and just in the same tone I would want AJ to take this fight. Being there, playing no games, wanting to knock Jake Spark out, El Sparko, cold, because that is what makes Jake Paul or any other fights interesting. A level of danger that we believe, a level of competition that we want to see. And the details, like I said, fire me up. It's a professional bout. This is going on people's records. AJ got to take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose.
By comparison, Jake Paul added speed, clumsiness, and theatrics. Competent boxing tools had been established during 5 professional years, and he had more head movement and timing than many have credited him with at the beginning of his career, though none of this has been sustained over a lifetime in exposure to elite power and size. Like Frank, Tony Jeffries also stressed that Anthony is going to win. He admitted that although Jake is a strong fighter who could terminate the battle at any time, he won't be able to do so when he faces Anthony. Anthony is skilled at taking charge of the ring, punching, and defending. Joshua has a distinct advantage due to his experience, skill set, and ring intelligence. He added that Anthony is the favorite in this eagerly awaited battle because of his tactical understanding and methodical approach, even if Jake provides strength and aggression.
He's going to win this fight by knockout. You would think I'm absolutely crazy, right? But the thing is, it can happen. 10-ounce gloves, heavyweight, Jake Paul can punch hard. But do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not, mate. Anthony Joshua is an absolute beast, an unbelievable, highly skilled, highly trained, highly experienced professional boxer with power in both hands, and he's really good at finishing people off. And even though I really take my hat off for Jake Paul for taking this fight, I didn't really want to take it because of what's going to happen in the result of this fight.
The situation changed when Spencer Oliver took sides against the odds of Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul. He also talked with the insight of a person who knew the business part and the pressures of being a former world champion. Oliver also noted that Joshua had a gigantic financial incentive left on the table, but also a big expectation. He felt that AJ was required to complete Jake as soon as possible, or the outcome would be considered a failure in any way.
50 million quid for that or 1 million quid for that, going through the same process. After he beats Jake Paul and ices him, and he's got to do that in 3 minutes, by the way, otherwise it's a lose situation again. But after he does that, there's a certain Fabio Wardley who's just become WBO world champion. Yeah. That could manifest itself, and that could be his route back into getting the world title.
Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver disagreed on whether Anthony Joshua had any sense fighting Jake Paul, as a former world heavyweight champion who would be looking to reclaim a title again. Jordan criticized the concept directly, claiming that Joshua could not prepare against such a potentially dangerous and confident champion as Fabio Wardley by competing in what he considered to be a sideshow due to money. Oliver counterpushed instantly, saying that Jordan was twisting his words.
How can Anthony Joshua be prepared for a world title shot against a live one in Fabio Wardley, who's full of confidence, by fighting Jake Paul for a big bag of money, which is kind of what you're alluding to.
No, it's not. No, you're twisting it up. See, that's what I'm saying.
That's what he said, didn't he?
I said he's going through the motions.
That's what he said, didn't he?
He's like he was going to have an 8-rounder against
for $1 million quid.
Tamarkan anyway, right? He was going to do that.
Yeah,
now he's going in against Jake Paul and getting 50 times the amount of money. So from a business point of view, we're ex-fighters. You go, that's called prize fighting.
But this isn't a Tamarkan. This is a stuff.
Simon.
He claimed that Joshua had already been training for an 8-round tune-up with a low-level opponent, and now he was just accepting a much more profitable version of the same job. According to Oliver, as a fighter, you had to take a huge paycheck to sign the same amount of preparation that the sport entailed. Jordan was not willing to give in, as he emphasized that Jake Paul was not another easy target.
What fight it has, he just has to go through that, getting his hands up, doing the ring walk, getting in there. He's at that stage of his career. You don't need tough warm-up fights to go into a world title fight.
The way you'll be looking at it is it's the 12-week training camp, isn't it? And he'll just go straight into a world title. Because, listen, with all due respect to Jake Paul.
Joshua is physically advantaged. The additional weight is changed into larger pads of muscle, increased leverage, and the type of single-shot strength to knock out an undercard or a main event in a heartbeat. To Paul, the technical plan could not merely afford to focus on volume, but had to focus on distance management, lateral movement, clinch work to blunt momentum, and a game plan that would counter the long-range artillery of Joshua. Carl Froch noted that he saw little real competition in this matchup. He pointed out that Anthony Joshua is clearly approaching the end of his career. Froch suggested that Joshua likely understands he has passed his athletic peak and, like many modern boxers, is now focused on maximizing earnings. At this stage, Froch argued Joshua's priorities seem more financial than about building a legacy or achieving further sporting glory, signaling that his motivations have shifted as his career winds down.
I just think if you're going to jump in with fake Paul at this level, which is like I say, arguably a massive mismatch, it's no way to step towards or climb a ladder to get towards that world title. So this, for me, tells me that Anthony Joshua knows he's finished at any sort of elite level or world level. He won't be trying to go down the world title level anymore. This is just a cash out. So good luck to him. Fair play to him, but hopefully when he's finished this fight, he'll be honest with us and say, listen, I've milked it, I've creamed it, I've had an unbelievable touch at the end of my career.
Mentally, Paul was called on to take a blow, another thing that his former rivals had not frequently enforced at a continued intensity. Joshua, on the other hand, could risk waiting and allow his jab to keep the distance and find times to deliver telling blows because he knew that a single successful strike would cause the entire match to be won. Adam Catterall gave a sharp, cautious message against Jake Paul getting into the ring with Anthony Joshua. He also stressed that the combat was a life-threatening one, being very unequal in terms of scale, strength, and technical skills. To him, Paul was getting into an area he was not quite prepared to be in, where one punch can have serious consequences.
If he steps in with Anthony Joshua, and it's a proper fight and there's no restrictions or anything like that, he's going to get hurt. It is dangerous. It is bad for the sport. It should absolutely not happen. I know that the people will be saying, well, business, money, all these types of things. Come on, man. There's a cut-off point at some point, isn't there? If he steps in with Joshua, Joshua will hurt him badly and it will reflect badly on the sport.
Catterall shared the increasing worries of a lot of people in the boxing industry that this was a match that went over the top of the entertainment to recklessness. He contended that the fight should never have been approved and told him that due to the experience and strength of Joshua, the fight was one where Paul could suffer serious injuries.
I know that people are down on Anthony Joshua, but we're talking about an Olympic gold medalist and two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. Come on. It's disrespectful to the sport. It's like you saying that lads, you play footy, right? It's like me, who plays for the Dog and Duck, saying that I can get on a pitch with you lads and run rings around you. Not a cat in hell's chance. It's never happening, is it? So come on, let's not be daft about it. If you want an exhibition later on when Joshua's finished, all right, well, maybe have a little bit of a fun then and a little bit of a move around. But as a professional contest, do me a favor, stay away.
This story tug of war, legitimacy against spectacle, and risk against reward, is not merely academic. It is characterized by the way pros presented the match. To some observers, it is an updated version of the David versus Goliath mystery that would expand the fan base of the boxing industry. To others, it is a misfit that undermined the quality of competition. In between such polls are boxing insiders who are aware of the business case and have pointed to athletic risk on the side of Paul and reputational risk on the side of Joshua. Another person to comment on the impending battle was Dan Raphael, who concentrated on the weight requirement of Anthony Joshua. He discussed it in an unemotional manner, saying that the figure on the scale is not as dramatic as newspapers are making it out to be. Raphael was there to remind followers that Joshua has fought within this weight several times in his career, and that the so-called limit is more of an argument than a hindrance.
It's irrelevant. It's the same as when they made the Jake Paul exhibition against Gervonta Davis and the cap weight was 195 for a guy that's fought in that same ballpark within a few pounds his entire career, except for the Mike Tyson fight. So to tell AJ that he has to weigh 245, he's going to cut literally about 4 or 5 pounds from where he's been for most of his recent fights. And by the way, he's fought plenty of fights under 245. So I don't even view that as a stipulation. It's just nonsense.
Rafael evaluated the fight in terms of business as well. He has acknowledged that he does not bring into full endorsement the matchup based on a competitive view, but he has admitted that on financial and strategic terms, it is better than most of the other possible opponents Joshua could have encountered. The pairing might not suit the purists, but it generates the best attention and revenue, and this is the reason why the bout was married even despite the risks.
Again, I don't love it, but I get it. You know, I understand the business elements, but in terms of just the matchup, if you said to me, you can either see Jake Paul fight Anthony Joshua in an official fight, or you can watch him fight an exhibition match against Tank Davis, I would take him against Anthony Joshua all day long. To me, this is a million times better than what I always have thought was a very ill-conceived event with Tank Davis. So whatever you think about Jake, and some of the types of fights that he has made, you got to give him credit for at least everybody has said for a long time now, fight a real fighter, fight a real boxer. Well, Anthony Joshua was absolutely a real boxer, a real fighter. You can't deny that. Like you said, 2-time world champion, Olympic gold medal.
In real life, the keys to victory were obvious. What it meant to Paul was to maintain discipline under pressure, not go overboard on counters, and move smart, convert a possible power disadvantage into an endurance and speed advantage across the rounds that were available. Sonnen responded to the calls of the crowd to make Jake Paul fight at the top and in the most challenging place as usual. He was responding to the fact that fans had been demanding a true challenge, someone who had real knockout ability, someone who could provide real danger, someone who could finally put an end to the spectacle that surrounded the rise of Jake. Sonnen clarified the fact that by requesting such a match, the audience had been requesting violence, speed, and decisiveness.
Get what you asked for. Well, what you asked for is a real fight. What you asked for is for somebody with the power and the danger to beat you. What you, the audience, have asked for Jake Paul is that you want to see somebody end this experiment. Do it brutally, do it quickly. Do it decisively. And that's what you've got. I think the courage that it takes for Jake Paul to do this, as well as for Joshua. You know, this isn't Joshua's first time doing a spoof fight.
Chael Sonnen has also commented on the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua boxing match, pointing out the stakes of the fight and the brutal aspect of the fight. He said that it is the true contest that the audience desires, as somebody with actual strength and threat can decisively challenge Jake Paul. Sonnen underlined that fans wanted to see the experiment concluded, fast, viciously, and with force.
This is a completely different kind of that type of fight, but it's still that fight nonetheless. Jake Paul has abilities to win this fight. A lot of them involved moral victories. A lot of them involved getting out of the first round. And a lot of them would involve getting out of the first 2 rounds and haven't been knocked down yet. One would be getting out of the 3rd round, you've only been on the canvas once, and you got up to your feet, you shook it off, and you're ready to keep going. Like, these things are all victories, but the fight that it's going to happen, I think it's a big deal for Jake Paul. I think it's a big deal for everybody involved.
With the countdown to Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua at its climax, there can be no more at stake. It is not just another avail. This is a career-defining point to Paul, and a huge payday and test to Joshua. Fans are closely following whether Paul would manage to survive the power and experience of Joshua, or the former world champion would demonstrate his power at the first bell. Each punch, each round will be a matter of life and death as the controller of the story and the one to brag about the victory. We would like to know your opinions. Who in your opinion is going to win this battle? Be sure to like the video in case you are excited, drop your prediction in the comments, and subscribe to the most up-to-the-moment fight updates and analysis.